All right, hey there, everybody. Meteorologist Greg D in the ABC Action News Weather Center. I got an update for you on Irma, and we're watching this hurricane very carefully out there in the Atlantic Ocean. Starting to get to the point where at least you got to think about what am I going to do if this storm gets close. Here's what we're looking at right now. I'm going to set up the graphics here in just 1 second. Hold on with me. All right, here we go. This is what I wanted to show you first before we get to that track as we go to with the storm. Here's what we're watching. If you're in Florida, here's how to deal with the storm. Number one, you want to actively check for updates. What does that mean? Don't just think that your updates are going to come up to you in your Facebook feed, your Twitter. I'll get them on Instagram. Someone will post something. There's been a lot of erroneous information going on around the storm, and that's caused some issues. People have been saying it's going to Texas, it's going here. I don't want you to fall for that. So make sure that you have a source like ABC Action News, like my Twitter feed, Facebook, Instagram, at Greg D Weather. You see it at the bottom of the screen there. That's where you get updates that will be correct. I'm not going to give you erroneous information. I'm actually not going to post a lot in terms of model information. I've seen a lot of that already out there this morning. It looks scary every time somebody posts it. It typically doesn't come true. So I'm just going to post the actual forecast information with some general model info as far as that storm goes. Have your hurricane season prep kit. What does that mean? You know that kit that we told you to make back in May? Not just for Irma, for any storm. It's hurricane season. It's Florida. You got to have a hurricane prep kit. Now is the time to have that kit ready. And then rule number 7 always applies. Don't freak out. It's the peak of the hurricane season. There will always be hurricanes out there in September. It seems like this is the time of year you're most likely to see them. So the fact that Irma's out there, it's not that unusual. It's not that crazy. Just like with every other storm, we're going to watch it and make sure that everyone stays safe during the storm. So we just want to make sure that you're all aware of that. All right, so here's the latest on the storm. There it is. It's well to the east still of the Leeward Islands, though we do have hurricane watches out for the islands. And you see, overnight it went through an eye wall replacement cycle, meaning the eye wall collapsed, the eye disappeared for a little bit, probably weakened briefly, and now a new eye wall has developed. Very clear eye now forming. You see it there as the sun rises over Irma in the central Atlantic. And it is a powerful storm. The latest information from the Hurricane Center has this a 115-mile-an-hour hurricane. That's a Category 3 moving towards the west-southwest at 14 miles an hour. Here's that information as you see it there. Could affect places like the Leeward Islands where hurricane watches are already up, and maybe even Puerto Rico getting some tropical storm force winds. Now, hurricane winds only extend 30 miles away from the center. It's a very compact hurricane, though tropical storm conditions go out as far as 140 miles. So I think the islands will at least get tropical storm conditions as Irma moves by. Here's what's going to move this storm over the next several days, and it's really all about this big area of high pressure over the central Atlantic. Hurricanes tend to go around these highs. Sometimes the high pressure is farther west, sometimes it's farther east, and that's what determines whether the storm goes right up the coast, stays out to sea, goes to a place like Bermuda, or hits the East Coast, or maybe goes straight west-northwest towards the Gulf of Mexico. As we go through the next 3 days, this area of high pressure will push Irma west-northwest. So it's going to get close to places like Puerto Rico and the Leeward Islands. Eventually, you see the models all clustering very close. Can you see it there? I'm going to make this larger. Just north of Cuba. They're all pretty close together. So the models agree that it's going to get to the southern Bahamas by, let's say, Wednesday or Thursday, maybe Friday. The big question is, what happens after that? Well, there is going to be a cold front that will be moving into the eastern United States Thursday. That front, as many fronts do, sometimes can influence the track of a hurricane. They're the ones that kind of push these storms up towards the central Atlantic and then push them out to sea. The exact intensity of this front, the timing, and it's still days away, will determine what happens to Irma. Some of these models have the storm turning off the east coast of Florida. Some of them have it coming much closer to Florida. Others continue it straight west-northwest past Florida, down through the Keys and into the Gulf of Mexico. So there's still a lot to be determined here. You notice how the models here at their very tips, there's a wide range between these lines. Some of them are way out in the Atlantic. The AVN2, if you can see the labels here on the screen, is way east. The others are almost in Florida. So there's this huge spread. That tells me the models are very uncertain about what's going to happen. So we're just going to watch this one very, very carefully. The official Hurricane Center forecast takes this hurricane, keeps it a Category 3 or 4 right through the Turks and Caicos, right into the southern Bahamas, and then eventually towards portions of Cuba. Florida's still not in that cone yet, but we're going to be watching it. Miami, maybe South Florida could be impacted. You never know by the weekend. If there are going to be any U.S. impacts on Florida, it's going to be the weekend, early next week. If there are going to be East Coast impacts, it could be Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. If there are Gulf Coast impact, even to the west of Florida, it would be sometime later next week. So this is still a very changeable situation. All right, I want to give you the forecast for home here as it is Labor Day. Here's what we're looking at. Temperatures in the 70s out there this morning, upper 80s to near 90 by lunchtime. You got outdoor plans for Labor Day. Hey, try to get all that in before 2 o'clock, the beach, the boat, the cookout, the barbecue, because after lunch, pop-up showers and thunderstorms begin. Temperatures 90s. It's going to be a hot one, humid too. Those storms will work their way towards the coast as we go through the afternoon and evening. Hopefully you'll cool off with those showers and storms. Here's your 7-day forecast. No Irma impacts through Friday and even Saturday. I've put in mostly cloudy skies on Sunday, and that's mainly because if Irma does get close, we could get some extra cloud cover from it. If it goes up the East Coast, maybe some extra rain chances. Again, very hard to tell at this point as far as what we're going to see. So, again, wait and see. That's the kind of pattern we're in. Irma is still a long ways away. You want to make sure that what you're doing is simply paying attention, that you've got your hurricane kit ready, the one that you're supposed to have in May, that you've got a place to always get your updates. Maybe every morning, get up, watch ABC Action News, check my Twitter feed, my Facebook. Make sure that you're getting that information daily from a reliable source. And rule number 7, the most important rule, do not freak out. Everything's going to be fine. Storm's probably going to change. The track is probably going to change. In fact, I guarantee you, when I talk to you tomorrow at this time, there will be some change to this track. That's the way it was going all weekend. That's the way it's going to go today. As the models try to figure things out, things will slide east, west, north, south. A lot will change. This is certainly a little heads up to, hey, just in case, get ready. Get that hurricane kit ready. All right, got another update coming up at 9 o'clock on ABC Action News. We'll have some new model information by then to share with you as well. May do another Facebook Live about 8:30 with James Tully. We'll likely again talk about Irma and give you some updated graphic information on that. All right, take care, everybody. I'll see you back on ABC Action News a little bit later this morning.